move Monday for today is know who you are, or people will try to tell you who to be, right? And this is very, very important, because something that kills dreams faster than failure is not knowing yourself. Because before you even step into the dream, you'll allow somebody to take the dream from you or make you think that this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. That's why you have to clearly define yourself early on, or people will try to define you for whatever makes them feel safe, right? They'll put you into the box that they see you being in and tell you that's where you're supposed to be and where you're supposed to stay. And so if you don't know who you are already, you might believe them, or you might allow them to change the viewpoint you have on yourself and the story that you're telling yourself on a regular basis, right? And part of the way that people decide where you fit will be based on where they fit in life. It'll be based on the things that they're afraid of. It'll be based on the limitations they've put on themselves or the limitations others around them have already put on them. It doesn't necessarily have to be built on the truth or built on what it is that's in front of them that they're watching in you. And this is something that I can speak on from a personal standpoint, right? Is when I first went to college, I went to college to be an actor, right? And so a lot of my family didn't really know what I was in school for when I first went to school. And so while I'm in school, holidays come around, right? I go to my uncle's house for, I don't remember, probably like Thanksgiving dinner or something like that. And I have family members look me dead in my face and laugh at me, right? Or tell me like, oh, you're still doing that bullshit. And so I could have taken that as maybe I need to do something different, right? I remember we sitting there at the table and it's getting towards the end of the night. It's just me and one of my aunts sitting there. Everybody went to like run to the bathroom, take care of baby, whatever the case may be. And she looked at me like, hey, nephew, so you in school, right? Where are you going again? Ohio University? All right, cool. Well, what are you in school for? And I said, oh, I'm in the performance program. I'm becoming an actor. And she started laughing. She said, you're funny. For real, what's your major? What do you mean, for real, what's my major? Like, I just told you. And she was like, boy, stop playing with me. I know you ain't going to school to be no actor. Like, what are you studying? Business, like management? And I just looked at her like, I appreciate the fact that you understand I'm intelligent enough to have done those, but I don't understand what's so funny about me telling you what it is I'm actually doing, right? And part of it is, it just seems like a crap shot. It seems like a dream of a profession, right? And so like I can understand that, but laughing in my face and telling me this is what I should be doing or what you thought I was doing, like, I don't, all right, bet. I just looked at her and in my head, I was just like, this is going to be one of the last real conversations I have with you because I don't like being laughed at in my face. I didn't even explain nothing. I just was like, bro, I just said it 3 times. And you're telling me that it should be something different or you don't believe what I'm actually doing. I'm done talking to you, right? And then my uncle looked at me in my junior year. I came home and he knew how I had been acting. And I guess he figured it was just a phase or I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do or something like that. But now it's my junior year, I believe. It might have been my senior year. I think it was my junior year. No, it was probably my senior year because that's when I got a car. And so I pulled up to his house and we was kicking it. He's in the garage smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, yo, what's good, Unc? And he's like, hey, what's up, nephew? Long time no see. Oh, let me talk to you real quick. You know how uncles do. Let's shoot the breeze real quick. And he's like, so I know you was doing your little acting shit. Well, what you up to now? What's your major? I said, what? He was like, don't tell me you still doing that dumb acting bullshit. I said, bro, what are you talking about? And I was just like, yo, before we can even go into a conversation, you just looked me in my eye, grown man to grown man, and said, are you still doing that dumbass bullshit? This is 4 years of my life I've dedicated to a certain path of study, and you're calling it bullshit, which means you're calling my life bullshit, which means you don't respect me. So I looked at my uncle and I said, all right, bro, we're not having no more conversations. You're not going to look me in my face and tell me I'm on some bullshit because you don't understand what I'm doing. And I'm done talking to you. His whole face was rearranged like, oh, my bad. I don't feel like he felt any type of way other than he realized I wasn't going for the shit. So it was just more like, oh, my bad. I'm glad you think the page is inspirational. But in my head, I was just like, where do you get off looking somebody in the face and saying you on some bullshit when they're telling you they're in college trying to learn and study something, right? And so it's like, I wasn't a dropout. It wasn't like I was lazy. It's not like I was lost. For 4 years, I told everybody exactly what it was I was doing and what it is that I wanted to do. But because they couldn't see themselves doing the same thing, or they couldn't understand what the trajectory was, they tried to tell me that I needed to do something other than what I had in my heart to do and what was in my head to do, right? And so I'm in school, I'm focused, and I'm committed to the path. Why are you trying to change my mind? But it's okay because it's my dream, not theirs, right? And just because my dream didn't match their versions of safety, that's fine. Y'all thinking small. Think big, bitch. Leave me alone. And so they tried to hand me a smaller identity because they couldn't see themselves stepping into this identity, right? And so most people won't attack your dreams just because they seem unrealistic. A lot of the time is because they can't see themselves doing it. They can't comprehend themselves doing the same things or walking down the same path. They don't understand how you have the confidence in order to do it and maintain it and the vision to see it through. So they're not necessarily condemning you. They're just not confident in themselves, right? And they'll disguise this as advice, as guidance, be realistic, have a backup plan. Like, it's because your ambition starts to remind them of the chances that they didn't take. And now they feel uncomfortable knowing that you see an opportunity they weren't willing to look for. And so instead of just accepting the fact, they'll try to change the narration around who you are and what you're capable of. And if you don't know who you are already, you'll accept it. You'll let them change you. You'll let yourself start asking yourself different questions. I could have been like, why is my aunt laughing at me? Maybe I should do something different. If my own family doesn't believe in what I'm doing, then maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. As I fast forward to even after I graduated from college, right? I was with my aunt and she told me that I needed to go get a job at a temp agency working in a factory. I said, bro, I just graduated from college with a degree. I understand that maybe looking for an acting position is going to take a little bit of time. But the last thing that I'm about to do is go become a worker at a temp agency. I have a college degree. Like, you feel me? And so it's like people will look at you and completely dismiss what it is they actually see and just paint over you what they think it needs to look like in order for them to feel comfortable. She told me I should go get a job as a longshoreman. Nothing against longshoremen. My uncle is a very successful longshoreman. He does not have a college degree. Again, no shade on my uncle, but it's like, bro, just because this is the path that your husband took and it makes you feel comfortable because you can foresee how it plays out, doesn't mean that I'm supposed to be following the same path or trajectory. I'm my own person and my own being. Why are you sitting here disrespecting the education I just received because you feel uncomfortable with my job choice? Like, it just didn't make no sense to me, bro. It kind of hurt my feelings, but at the same time, I was just like, look, fuck everybody, dog. I know what it is I'm supposed to be doing, and I know what it is that I like to do. So you can't let other people's talk change your belief in yourself, right? And if you don't know who you are yet, you might just let the things other people say make you feel as if you need to start believing what they're saying. Hell no. And so I didn't stop what I was doing. I didn't explain myself to none of them because clearly we're not looking at the same things. We're not living in the same reality, right? You see what you think I should be doing. I'm telling you what's actually happening and how I'm going to proceed with my life, right? You doubt that it's going to happen. I don't have time for the negativity, right? So I just kept going. And honestly, I don't talk to either of those two aunts. Whoop-dee-doo, big surprise, you feel me? And my uncle tries to act like he never criticized my career choices in the beginning, right? It wasn't until one day he saw me on a video at his office and was like, oh shit. He called me the next day, like, guess who I saw on TV at work yesterday? Me. Like, now you have some faith. Now you see how it can work out. But until you saw the goal, you had no support for the vision. And so that's another thing. People will try to tell you who to be. And then once the person you chose to be works out, they'll act like they never doubted. They'll act like they were in your corner the whole time. They'll act like they saw the vision. They'll act like they supported you. When really, they were just waiting to see you fail. And now that you're not failing and now that you're not quitting, they feel stupid. They feel like they're on the losing side. So they want to switch teams. Fuck them. And so after all of the doubt, all the naysayers, I now successfully live in LA as a professional actor. I act full time. I have not punched the 9-to-5 clock in over a year. I just had my cousin call me the other day and asked me if I was at work. I was sitting in my bedroom editing on my computer. I said, yes, I'm at work. He was like, oh, my bad. Do you need to go? I said, bro, it's 11:30 at night and I'm sitting in my bedroom chest out. I don't need to go nowhere, but I'm still at work, bro. He was like, oh, my bad. I just didn't know if you had a 9-to-5. Nigga, you know I don't have no 9-to-5. We've already had this conversation. Oh, I just think it's wild that people will literally look at what's right in front of them and then dismiss the validity of it because it makes them uncomfortable. What? And this is something that's also funny. The people who were doubting never had to get any permission to feel uncomfortable about my choices. So why the fuck did I need their permission to feel comfortable with what I was doing with my life? This is not your life. It's not your path to walk. Oh, the overall point of this whole story is know yourself. If you don't know yourself, others will try to paint versions and pictures of you and dictate who it is that you should be or who you're supposed to be. And if you don't fully know yourself, you might just let them successfully do it, reroute where you're headed, and change the way you view yourself and think about yourself. And a lot of the time, the idea or version of you that people are more comfortable with is going to be a smaller version, a safer version, a more quieter version, a more well-behaved version. And this is because they're able to control this version. They're able to dictate what it is this version of you does, how they do it, and where they, you feel me, reside in the world. But when you know who you are, all opinions are out the window, and what anybody has to say about you and what they think about you is secondary to who it is you know you are and what you see in your future, right? So please know who you are, be confident in it, be confident in yourself, step in the lanes that you know are for you, and don't worry about the naysayers, don't worry about the doubters, don't worry about the people who can't see your vision, because they don't have to walk the life that you walk. They don't have to be on your path. And like I just said, they don't ask for your permission to feel uncomfortable about your choices. So why do you have to ask for their permission in order to make the choices? It's between you and God. Lone Wolf out.